Hello, my friends. Welcome to this book review of Goethe's Wilhelm Meister's Apprenticeship, published in 1795. So, in this book review, I will tell you why I read it, my thoughts about it. I'll tell you what the story's about without spoiling too much. And just my overall thoughts. So, I wanted to read Goethe in general because I started studying Carl Jung's psychology. Carl Jung had admired Goethe a lot, and I believe he was somewhat related to Goethe as well. So I read Goethe's first novel. I believe it's under various titles, but The Sufferings of Young Werther, something along those lines. I like that novel, but I wasn't in love with it. So I put Goethe away for a long time and then finally picked him up again. This was a novel that Goethe began in the 1770s but finally finished in 1795 with a lot of help from his good friend Friedrich Schiller, who I made a book review of on the aesthetics of education, or on the education of aesthetics, with that link up above. I believe Goethe was about 45 years old when he finished it. I'm 41. I do find it interesting to read how other people across time thought about life around the age that I'm at. And yeah, I like novels. And so I started reading it based on that. And I was pleasantly surprised to find that the translator was Thomas Carlyle, the famous Scottish Victorian scholar. He's well known for On Heroes and Hero Worship. As well, it was a friend of Ralph Waldo Emerson. He was a very influential writer and essayist and speaker a long time ago. I was a little, perhaps a little worried because I didn't know if, I didn't know how, Thomas Carlyle translated this a very long time ago. I didn't know if I would be able to follow everything. Sometimes when I read deep thinkers from a long time ago, their words are so eloquent that sometimes it takes me a long time to really understand everything that they're saying. But I cannot attest to the other translations, but I really, really loved reading this book. Not only Goethe's thoughts and Goethe's story, but the translation, which, of course, I wish I could read it in the original German, but I found so many sections of this book, so many lines, to be beautiful. And even though it's prose, it moved my heart and soul, and as much as a very powerful poem. It was beautifully written. I cannot say that it was all beautifully written. There are some parts, perhaps, that some parts of the story, some of the storytelling that I didn't always love. I will say the first 2/3 of the book I was really hooked, and then the last third, I felt some parts were a little contrived, and I wasn't really into it. Yet I endeavored to finish the novel. Now, why would I keep reading this book? Well, I had invested all this time into these characters. I'll get to what the story's about in just a second. But there were so many nuggets of beautiful insight into life. So many philosophical thoughts and ideas about every little topic that you could imagine. It's a long novel. And the thoughts that Goethe is conveying and is being translated by Thomas Carlyle, where there were just so many beautiful places in the book that I either just liked just the combination of words for the feeling and the sound that it made, not necessarily for the exact, the meaning is obviously important, but just the poetry of the writing, but also the deep thinking that it caused me to reflect on my own life. So I finished it, just because almost every page there was some section and sometimes whole pages that I just had to highlight. It was one of those books. Now, it may not be that for everyone. We all have different temperaments. We all have different tastes. I have a romantic soul and a romantic heart. I'm moved by ebullient emotions. And this is a romantic writer. And this is a romantic story, a story of the upheavals of a person's heart and soul as they go throughout life, and the various transformations that they take based on the vicissitudes of the twists and turns of their path and vocation and love life. It's a story about a young man, the young protagonist, Wilhelm Meister, as he follows his romantic inclinations, follows his dreams and his love, but then his world crumbles when his heart breaks. And as so many of us, when our heart breaks, we want to despair and give up on life and perhaps even become physically sick, as he does in the novel. And when he recovers, how many people swear they'll never love again when their heart breaks? So he does something similar. He's not going to trust his heart. He's going to live pragmatically through the rational mind and follow the family business. He comes from a family of merchants, and he goes along the way. But life is only magical from that special fire that is within us. And there's some beautiful phrases about the fire within us. He just, eventually life seizes him again, and love may or may not blossom again, and there may be some tragedy. It is a great story of life, written at a time where Europe and Germany was going through this transition of balance of power between the bourgeois or the burgermeisters, those merchant class, sort of taking over, and the aristocrats and the nobles and the counts and the barons, and all of these characters make their way in. There's land purchases, parties, there's class differences, poor people, traveling bands, actors, there's war, there's a lot of stuff going on. And the stage, and Shakespeare, and so much wisdom and beauty conveyed in this novel that I'm very happy that I read it. Now, it may not be for everyone, but if you like anything that I said, you might want to check out Goethe's Wilhelm Meister's Apprenticeship. It gave me a lot of beautiful moments of reflection, of pondering, of thought, of beauty, of transport. So I'm very happy I read it, and I hope you like this book review. Give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. My name is Ryan. Bye.